Welcome to In the Zone number 87. I'm Craig Zimmerman, and across me is a local guy that a lot of people know, and our family and his family go way back. T.J. Schindler, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yep. So T.J., we'll go over all the basic stuff, but most people know you grew up in Marine City,
Yep.
and I know you knew your dad, your mother, your uncles,
Oh, yeah.
all of them. So you were born and raised in Marine City, and let's
Yes.
talk about that.
So, born and raised Marine City, graduated in 2003. After that, went to Wayne State. Actually went SC4 first, then did Wayne State, graduated from there. Started teaching, got a job up in Brown City, taught there for 11 years, and then right after the year after COVID, actually when Bill Nesbitt retired, his job came open at St. Clair, and it was a good time for me to come back this way. I always wanted to get back this way. No one knew it at the time, but my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer, so we were hoping things were going to go good. Unfortunately, it didn't, and then it was the right time to move back. Yep, everything, it worked out for the better.
Yep, yep. So your mother, Mary Beth, she was born and raised in Algonac,
Yep.
and so there's roots all over the place around here. Like I said, along with your uncles, and not many people know how many family members were in your dad's family.
Right. So yeah, my dad was one of 12, and then 2 stepbrothers, so really 14. I still have a hard time keeping cousins, aunts, and uncles' names straight. And it was when we were kids, it was, which one do you belong to? You know, type thing. Right. Like my mom tells a story. She was pushing us in a grocery cart at the old IGA, and somebody stopped. She was like, "All right, I know they're both Schindlers, and now who are you?" Like, it was just how it was growing up.
That is something that with big families that happens, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's a little hard nose there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I had that nickname and had it on the back of a T-ball shirt, and it was, you'd get in trouble or you'd do something out terrorizing town, and they knew which one to call most times too. And like we get home and my dad's already got a phone call. So and so said you did this. Me and my brother looking, hey, you're like, I didn't say anything. No, I didn't hear that. And yep.
So you played for what I call the legend. I call him the Pope of Marine City football.
Yep.
Am I wrong in saying that?
No.
Right?
Yep, for sure.
Bob SCHS.
Yep. Coach Bob's awesome. Awesome, man. Like, I saw him, I think, last year, and when I graduated in 03 to now, that he has not aged a day.
Right. He's the only guy that has been gone 20 years, and he looks the same as the day he left.
Yep, exact same. I mean, I remember we had to do warm-ups. We had to do like 50 high knees in between the lines because he just turned 50 that year, and that was how he was. And he was the type of guy you would run through a brick wall or jump in a trench with him, as he would say, if the Canadians ever invade. So,
special guy. I mean, learning from a guy like that.
Oh yeah.
And somebody asked me the other day, a Marine City fan, talked about why the consistency, and I said, well, you know, it goes back to Jerry Warkentine and then Bob SCHS and the groundwork that they laid and the way that they treated the kids and the coaches, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, when I started, you know, coming up, even I had Mr. Warkentine was my JV coach at the time, and then working your way up, you know, it's very consistent. They all have the same message, you know, and then when you're done, like, you want to go work with them. You want to do that stuff, and that's really what got me into coaching. If it wasn't for, like, you know, Coach Bob, Scar, Ron, and all those guys, like, I wouldn't be coaching, I wouldn't be teaching now. And just that experience I got even in the phys ed realm, like, that's what really led me going to phys ed teaching was you know, brought a lot out of me. Like, I was very quiet. I probably would have been a gamer, and I'd probably be a streamer right now if I wouldn't have gotten into all that my freshman year with lifting and getting into those kinds of things.
So would you say that your teaching and coaching was sort of born out of that first high school experience?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay. You know, I remember when that bond passed and we got the new weight room at Marine City and out of the dungeon, as they called it. And then I was, I think, a junior when that happened, but I still remember going to my first weights. Me and my buddies rode up on our bikes. I'd never been there before, and, you know, welcome, hop in, these guys will show you what to do. We'd go do the workout, we'd take off right after it, not realizing, my buddy's like, oh no, this is when we leave, because the varsity does stuff. Well, they're going to run conditioning, so we got out all that conditioning freshman year, so that was nice. Now knowing it, you know what kids try to get out of, but
So now being a guy that's approaching a milestone birthday, you got to really that's sort of what you lived for then.
Yeah.
And now you're teaching that now.
Yes. So, I mean, that was a big thing is with me, like all those experiences I have, I want to pass on to the next group and try to get guys, back into this profession as well, or, just try to make their experience as good as mine was when I was growing up.
Okay. So you said you went to college.
Yes.
Explain your process of college, where, what, when, and why.
So I went to SC4 for 2 years, got my associates done, got all my undergrads or my gen ed stuff done, and then went to Wayne State, and I knew I wanted to go into teaching and coaching, and at the time, I was pretty much paying for college myself, so then I could commute it, which driving my I think it was 84 Dodge Ram I had back then,
Yeah.
Was killing me on gas eventually, so I ended up getting an apartment down at Wayne State, and then went through their whole program, and then graduated in 2009 from there.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it was a great experience, other than having my car stolen twice. Other than that,
Twice.
within a week and a half, like I thought I made somebody mad, or like I'm trying to figure it out, and I was on campus the first time. They pushed it a block and a half down the road, stole 75 cents out of the middle compartment, and left it. And then the second time, I was right behind the baseball fields, and they broke out the window. It was my dad's work car, his little Dodge Duster he had.
I was going to ask you if it was the same car twice.
No, it was not. So no, but luckily it was like the same ignition. So mine had it, so he popped that out. He left work, came up, popped that ignition in, drove that car home, and then re-swapped them again. He loved tinkering on his cars. So,
And if he didn't know it, he'd call Paul.
If you didn't know, he would call Paul.
Paul
That is-
Phelps.
yes, he would,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So.
That's an interesting side story that, like, you can't hardly explain to somebody when you get a car stolen. I had a car stolen back in the 80s in Detroit. Same thing. It's like you're walking up and you're looking. I know it was right there, and you take a step or two and you start to question, well, maybe it's down further. Then it's like, it's gone.
Right. Yeah, and I walked out of my apartment. I'm like, I know I parked there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, trying to figure out, like, it had to have been stolen. I went in and asked my roommates. They're like, oh, no, it was there when we left for practice. At the time, I was living with, like, 4 dudes off the swim team at Wayne State. I'm assuming somebody saw 4 guys leaving, thought no one was home, took it, and then I'm like, all right, well, I'm walking to class. So I start walking. I get a block and a half down the road. There it is in the alley. So then my roommates helped me push it back.
Tires were still on it.
Tires were still on it. They messed up the ignition. So we think it stalled, and he just left it and took my 75 cents. I'm like, knock on the door. I'll give you bus fare next time.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
So.
Okay. So you go to Wayne State. Did you graduate in education? Or?
So my degree from Wayne State is actually in kinesiology, and then my minor is in health.
Okay.
So.
And
Yep.
so then from there, you go on to teach. Was your first job
Yep.
in Brown City?
Yeah, I substituted for 1 year between, I was at Anchor Bay because I did my student teaching there. I did some subbing at New Haven as well. Tried to get in East China, but at the time they were swamped. Like it was just different, situation for teachers. So then it was actually funny. I applied at Brown City. Brad Robbins got the job, and then he left to come back to East China. Him and I both interviewed for that job. Came down to him and I. He got the one because he had the year experience. So then I applied, got his old job at Brown City, and then was there for 11 years teaching mostly elementary phys ed, and then some health once the health teacher at Brown City retired, and I was the only one else that was health certified. So I taught that, and then some high school weight classes here and there.
And we know some people in Brown City, but we're not going to mention
Right.
their names.
Yeah.
So then you go there and teach for 11 years, and then it opens. Now, how did you hear about the opening?
It was really random. It was like I just happened to be looking. There was some stuff changing up there, so it just made me like, take a look. I knew my dad was sick. I'm like, just happened to be looking, and then it popped up, and then I remember it was Father's Day weekend. I applied, submitted my application. I heard right before 4th of July, hey, can you come in? I'm like, okay, come in, do an interview. They offered it right before 4th of July. I didn't think I was gonna get it at the time. And I'm like, had to start right now, it got real for me. So then I had to start weighing out all my options. And then it was nice too, once I looked at the pay difference, it was like, I think I got 15 years left of teaching, and it was gonna be about a $20,000 pay bump over the next 15 years. So, I mean, at the end of the day, plus that with my dad and everything else, it just seemed logical.
Right time
yes.
to do it. Okay. And you've been back, what, 4 or 5 years?
So this will be my 4th year back.
Okay.
It worked out. I've been doing weights, some health here mostly. And then when I moved back, my buddy's wife tried to set me up with my now fiance. So then that worked out in my favor. So no, it was good. And then we just got engaged a couple weeks ago.
Congratulations.
So thanks. And we bought a house this summer, so it's been a pretty busy summer.
Whirlwind with busy season.
It's been very, very busy.
So do you have a date picked out?
Do not yet.
Okay.
No.
She'll let you know.
Yeah, she'll let me know. Just I said not in the fall. Like just please, not in the fall.
After November.
So, yes. Yeah.
There you go. Let's talk about your brother.
Okay.
He's got a couple kids.
Yep. I got one brother, Matt. He's 2 years younger than me, but he's 6'5".
Yep.
So I kind of got hosed in the height because I'm 5'9" on a good day. Then I got my niece and nephew. One is starting kindergarten this year, and then the other one's going to be with preschool. And then my mom watches them.
So that's your mother's part-time
Oh,
job right
yep,
there.
she does that. She loves being grandma, and then she still works at the dentist office, so doing that. But nope, it's great, and they're awesome. You know, it's awesome. I love being an uncle. I have so much fun with them. You know, I get them all wound up.
Right,
Here you go. Yep.
Yeah, here's candy.
Yep.
Here's
Give
the
my brother back for all those years of getting on my nerves. So.
Does he still play basketball?
Once in a while, yeah. Him and pals are still try to hoop it up. I don't think they move as good as they used to, but no, he still does.
Okay. So when you played high school football, you played offensive line, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you play any defense?
Nope, no defense. Not when I was on varsity. Did like JV and freshman.
Sure.
But no, I played left guard, and then that was about it. Like offensively, I loved it. I had two guys next to me that I absolutely were best friends with. You know, Josh Preeb and Skylar Verhelli.
Yep.
You know, we always used to joke because when we'd listen, because back then, you had to wait till film on Monday, or you could stay up till midnight and watch it on Channel 6 at the time. So we'd stay up, many of us, and wait to see, like, all right, how bad's film going to be Monday. So, you know, and you guys talking about, run behind the left side of that line again and stuff like that. So it'd always get us, we'd get excited, and we had fun with that.
Yeah.
So.
You know, when you look at it, like you say, we talked earlier about the fact of, you know, working for somebody that's so knowledgeable in the game of football.
Right.
I think something earlier this week, somebody asked me, what's the reason that Marine City's been so consistent? My comment to them was, I would say, you were part of it, the line play.
Oh, yeah.
That's one big, huge part that I think Coach Bob, Tony, Ron, they all knew that the game started there.
Right.
If you don't have holes,
you
don't have places to run, you're not going to be very good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been an O-line coach most of my coaching career because this would be my 21st year coaching now. I started right the year after I graduated. I was just volunteering, helping out there, and doing O-line almost this whole time. And it makes a huge difference. Like, if the line doesn't go, the offense doesn't go, whether that's passing or running. So starting there and really having that foundation is crucial.
Now, is there much of a difference, say, in coaching a scenario where the offense knew this year in St. Clair versus what you were used to in past years?
Yeah, it's been different for me this year. So with the new offense and then me taking over as JV head coach and learning all of it, I kind of switched from the O-line to more of the quarterback and receivers and skill players. And then my assistant, Joe Phillips, is handling the O-line this year, which he's awesome job. I tell him all the time he's the best assistant coach in the program. So he makes my life a lot easy because now as an O-line coach, I personally sometimes have a hard time letting go. But having the faith in him, he's been able to handle it, and I trust him fully. So now I can focus in on the play calling and everything else, and I know the O-line is going to be taken care of.
Is there much of a difference of coaching and teaching an offensive lineman from a, say, run-dominated game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, when it's technique, are we hand blocking? Are we shoulder blocking? You know, what angles are we stepping at? You know, how we're driving our feet, different things like that does make a big difference. You know, it's hard to explain unless you you really do it. But
do you run any trap?
We have some plays where we got some guys pulling and trapping.
That's where you're born and raised on.
Yes, I could teach trap until the cows come home, and love teaching it. And so it's always good to get back to that, or I'll hop in with the O-line and go over just a couple little tweaks on some footwork things. Like, I wasn't the quickest guy, but I had very good feet. So my feet work really saved me. So I really try to harp in on those little things because that can turn a very average lineman into a very good O-lineman, as Ron used to say.
Yeah. One thing, I was talking to Coach Ski earlier and talking about the issue that I wish the parents and the people in the stands could see some of this technique that goes into it, because there's a lot that goes into it.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of moving parts. You know, we have our practice plans where it's, all right, this coach has this group for this much time, and you got to then be, I only have 10 minutes, I got to be back with the main offense. All right, so what do I really need to dial in today? What stuff from film? You know, Varsity, they film all their practices. So we made these mistakes yesterday. We got to clean this up today. So yeah.
The other thing that I noticed is that when the game is going on, people may shout things or see things.
Oh, yeah.
They're seeing it totally from a totally different perspective than a coach is seeing it.
You know, there's things like they don't understand it. It's a lot of times it's like a chess.
Yeah.
You know, you got to think 4 moves ahead.
Yep.
And in some cases, you got to think 3 games ahead, even too. Like, all right, I'm going to show this now because I know so-and-so's getting the film, and I want them to waste time preparing for it, even though I'm never going to run it against them. So, like, there's all those kinds of things. And then the time with the coaches' meetings, you know, me and my assistant, I know, are constantly going back and forth, just texting all the time, which technology does help with that.
Sure.
You know, with Huddle, being able to go through it and show all that stuff on film. And then, unfortunately, you know, the parents don't always see all those things.
Right.
Like, there's a lot behind closed doors, you know, even like here with all the editing and things like that. People don't see it. They just...
Yeah, it's fascinating of what goes on in formations.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like you said, line them up differently to throw the defense off.
Right. Yep. No, it's like when I played, I remember I didn't know all the formations then. I just listened to the last 2 numbers, and that told me my job.
Okay.
I think I was very football illiterate until after I graduated and started coaching. Like, I remember I played offense only, so I knew my job. Like, I didn't even know what cover 2 meant back then, and understanding all the defense side now. So for people to be able to look at it, and then, you know, you see things on TV. Well, why aren't they doing this? The NFL does it. Well,
Sure.
the NFL has all NFL players.
Right.
We don't have
Right.
all NFL players.
Let's talk about something you just mentioned, cover 2. Let's break that down. Obviously, we don't have a screen in front of us to do the old John Madden.
Right.
But a cover 2, splits the field.
Splits the field in half, and typically you have 2 safeties, each responsible for half. So you just go from field goal post. One's going to have the right side, one's going to have the left side, and then you can either run different combinations of man or other guys get into other spots or zone coverage underneath it.
And it's fascinating, you know, with dimes and different things like that.
Right.
More backs.
You got to be aware of, especially calling defense, because I did that for a number of years up in Brown City. So you call things, and then it's like, okay, well, I have a hole here. I just got to be aware they could, you know, this is a weak spot, and just trying to keep the offense guessing too, because you don't want them to know how you're planning on attacking them. It's very much so a chess match.
Yeah, there's like stuff going on all over the
Oh,
place.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
Okay, I think we got everything covered. You start off in Richmond.
Yep.
When?
Oh, we're home. We're actually home.
Okay, you're home. This is Tuesday, so you're home tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, yep. Tomorrow at Richmond at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So we got a pretty good JV group. Looking forward to it. It's been exciting. Got a fun group. Quite a few sophomores, so that makes life a little easier for me right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're about 32 kids right now.
Okay.
So going good.
Good to hear. Good luck in your
Thank you.
season.
Appreciate it.
All but 1 week.
Right? I know.
You know how that goes.
Oh, I know how that goes.
Thank you to everybody watching here on CTV6. This is In the Zone number 87 with T.J. Schindler, JV football coach, St. Clair.